New cars create a lot of excitement. And right around new car announcement time, the fascination builds up to a feverish pitch. People buy and enjoy cars for a lot of different reasons. But when you get down to the bottom line, they all need service. At Chevrolet, we strive to keep our customers satisfied with quality cars and dependable service. You play a vital role in our efforts by consistently doing a good job on all of the cars that you work on, and you're not alone. We work at improving the serviceability of our cars year after year. In the last 3 years, we have introduced innovations on our restyled car lines like the modular instrument panel with front-loaded gauges and control heads. And we have continued to refine our engine systems so that they will require less maintenance. Take the HEI system, for example. Chevrolet also looks at the little things. When everybody had taken the cylinder fuse for granted, we introduced a new one, an easy-to-service plug-in fuse that can be removed and installed without the use of a tool. Now, these innovations are just a few examples of many service-improved designs. But more than that, they represent a commitment to all service technicians everywhere that Chevrolet will continue to offer highly serviceable cars. Now, Chevrolet takes great pleasure in introducing a totally brand new car in which we say, this one's for you. The all-new 1980 Chevrolet Citation. This car is truly the embodiment of a serviceability promise from Chevrolet to service technicians. Let's take a trip to the drawing board and see. During the Citation design stages, engineers were asked to design a totally new front-wheel drive car. They came up with the two-rectangle design of the future. The front rectangle is designed to contain all of the major mechanical systems of the car, including the drive axle. The second rectangle contains controls and passengers. The Citation displays a clean and simple design made to feature ease of service. An important part in the building of the Citation was a service project committee. They added and changed many initial designs for improving service accessibility on the final production car. The Citation will be introduced this spring. And it is, in fact, the most thoroughly tested car in General Motors history. Most of the service procedures required on the Citation are similar to the methods you use now. Some are modified, and a few are all new. First, let's take a look under the hood. Now, most of the time when you're checking fluids or inspecting the engine, you can use the regular prop rod. But when more room is needed, you use this service prop rod, which is part of the essential tool package. It props the hood straight up, allowing you extra working room. The Citation is equipped with a transverse-mounted 2.5-liter L4 engine. It comes as standard equipment, and it's the same cast-iron L4 engine used on the current Monza. The L4 engine uses the Rochester 2SE Varijet carburetor, which was introduced on some 79 model Chevrolets. This carburetor is also used on the new 60-degree V6 engine, which is available as an option. From a service standpoint, this V6 is similar to other V6 engines used in Chevys, so there are no problems here. Even with the transverse design, the spark plugs on the rear bank of the V6 engine are easy to service. The new oversized boot design allows you to twist and pull the boot off at an angle. Then remove the spark plugs with a flex universal and a 3 or 6-inch extension. Because of refinements made in the ignition and fuel systems, plus increased fuel quality, spark plug service intervals on the Citation are extended to 30,000 miles. Now, that's something to talk about. Transverse-mounted engines tend to cramp working space around the drive belts, but features like this slot on the air conditioning bracket allow for proper belt tensioning. Another serviceability plus is the blower motor. It's easily serviced without removing or loosening any other components. Just remove the retaining screws and pull it out. On Citations equipped with air conditioning, access to the heater core is gained under the instrument panel, while on cars without air, remove the heater core from behind an access plate on the dash panel in the engine compartment. The Citation brake system sports some modifications and some brand new features. For instance, the combination valve is integral with the master cylinder. The brake line circuit is redesigned too. It's a split diagonal hydraulic system, which means if one circuit fails, you'll still have line pressure to an opposite front and rear wheel. As you can see, the Citation transverse mounted engine holds no mysteries. The engine is mounted sideways, but it still comes out from the top. Okay, let's take a look under the Citation. The big service story here is the split cradle and the transaxle. The cradle is the supporting member for the engine and transaxle. The Citation cradle is designed to split diagonally. Now, to split the cradle, follow the proper procedures and use the required special tools, like this engine holding fixture, which is designed to take pressure off the motor mounts. And this axle drive shaft puller is used to remove the axle shaft from the transaxle. Once all of the necessary nuts and bolts have been removed, use the puller to pop the axle shaft out of the transaxle. The driver's side of the cradle now swings out of the way. This provides room for transaxle removal or clutch replacement. To reposition the cradle, basically just reverse the removal procedures. The axle shaft end is tapered and has a locking collar. This collar fits into an inset in the transaxle shaft socket. A large screwdriver or bar can drive the axle shaft back into position. This split cradle is a General Motors exclusive. It adds room for service where there's none on other front-wheel drive cars. Ask a technician who's replaced a clutch on a Rabbit, Omni, or Horizon, and you'll see. The transaxle is a combination transmission and rear axle. A helical gear in the transmission drives the ring gear, which in turn drives the differential and axle shafts. The transaxle can come equipped with the optional automatic transmission or the standard manual transmission, which features a large clutch disc that provides up to 100% service life improvement over conventional clutches. Another manual transmission feature is this constant tension cable mechanism above the clutch pedal. This spring-loaded ratchet device takes up any slack in the cable each time the clutch is depressed, so that there's no lash adjustment required on the Citation. Both automatic and manual transaxles use Dexron 2 automatic transmission fluid shown on the left. Heavy-duty GX90 gear lube on the right is no longer used for axle drive lubrication. The use of low-viscosity Dexron 2 greatly reduces the amount of friction in the transaxle. This lubrication refinement, along with others, makes the Citation one of the most friction-free cars ever built by Chevrolet. The Citation front suspension utilizes McPherson struts. This strut design allows for additional engine compartment space. The lower strut end attaches to the steering knuckle through these two bolts, which are also used for camber adjustment. Because of the strut design, there's no need for caster adjustment. The upper strut end is secured in this inner fender well tower by 3 nuts. To remove the strut, remove these 3 nuts and the 2 lower attaching bolts. The front spring is loaded independently on the strut assembly. To remove the spring and the upper mounting hardware, use this McPherson strut spring compressor tool. The upper strut assembly disassembles as shown, with a mount, spring seat, bumper, shield, and insulator. You won't be handling these parts too often because the McPherson strut has twice the service life of a conventional shock absorber. Another component you won't be working on often is the wheel bearing unit. The Citation wheel bearings are permanently sealed and lubed for life. And as far as adjustments go, just tighten the self-locking retaining nut to the specified torque. Because the drive axle is now located under the hood, the rear suspension is easily serviced with room to spare. To remove a rear spring, simply disconnect the shocks and lift the car enough to relieve tension. Then remove the spring. Inside the Citation, you'll also find some service advancements. Again, the gauges and control heads are front-loaded and easily serviced. The fuse panel is located below the instrument panel on the passenger side. Pull open the access door and you're there. And replacing the taillight assembly is a snap. Just remove the attaching wing nuts and pull the assembly away. Yes, with the introduction of the all-new Citation, Chevrolet has a lot to offer, like the Service Project Committee, looking for new ways to improve serviceability. Advanced, innovative service design components, like the split cradle. Time-saving service features, like sealed wheel bearings that are lubed for life. And a car that sports the latest in automotive technology. Yes, this one's for you, the 1980 Chevrolet Citation. As a follow-up to this film, look for 4 new ProTech releases. Now, they'll be packaged 2 to a box and will be arriving at your dealership soon. They'll cover in-depth many of the components that you saw in this film. They'll show the correct use of special tools and highlight some of the special service procedures, so don't miss them. Also, GM training centers will be offering a wide range of classes on the Citation. Ask your service manager if you can enroll in one of them. Well, that's the latest service news on the Citation from an important part of the dealership.